Welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by CivicCentre IAS, where we will discuss the top 10 important topics for the UPSC CSE Prelims for the day, 13 March 2025, from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB. The first article here is from the PIB. It talks about the AI-driven digital twins. So what is this AI-driven digital twins? See, they are virtual replicas of physical infrastructure that integrate real-time data and predictive analysis and cross-sectoral insights to enhance planning, design, and monitoring. Now, what are the advantages over the traditional methods? Firstly, it overcomes the fragmented, static, and incomplete data sets. Secondly, it ensures real-time monitoring and predictive decision making. And lastly, it optimizes the resource allocation and enhances infrastructure resilience. Now, moving forward to talk about the Sangam, which is a digital twin initiative. See, it is launched by the Department of Telecommunications and Department of Telecommunications on 15th February 2024. Significantly, the objective of it is to foster AI-driven digital twins for enhanced infrastructure planning and telecom sector transformation. Now, what are the implementation challenges with respect to these digital twins? Firstly, clear policy frameworks are required for AI integration in the telecom. Secondly, the private sector, startups and academia need to collaborate for success. Thirdly, the privacy preserving AI models should be integrated. And lastly, multi-sectoral coordination is needed for efficient digital twin deployment. Now, moving on to the second article. The second article talks about the rolling out of 6G technology. Currently, the 6G technology is under development at the international level and is expected to be deployed by 2030. Know that the vision of India's 6G is that, which is released on 23rd March of 2023, aims for India to be a global leader in design, development and deployment of 6G technology. Now, moving on to talk about the key principles under it. The first one is making 6G services cost effective. Secondly, ensuring energy efficiency and eco-friendly network development. And lastly, widespread 6G availability across rural and urban areas. Now, moving on to talk about the Bharat 6G Alliance. See, it is facilitated by the Department of Telecommunications and is composed of industry stakeholders, academia and research institutions, and standards organizations. Now, what are the objectives under it? Firstly, to develop an action plan for India's leadership in 6G research and development. Secondly, to foster international collaboration in the field of advanced wireless technologies. And lastly, 6G spectrum allocation and frequency bands. Now, what are the frequencies used for 6G? See, the frequencies are 4400 to 4800 and 7125 to 8400 megahertz. Furthermore, 14.8 to 15.35 gigahertz. Know that the decision on these bands is to be finalized at the World Radio Communication Conference in 2027. Now, moving on to talk about the third article. The third article talks about the cybercrime prevention and investigation in India. See, the police and the public order are state subjects under the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution. So, the state and UT law enforcement agencies handle the crime prevention, investigation and prosecution including the cyber crimes. Now, what is the role of central government under it? See, the central government will provide financial assistance and advisories to the states or UTs, and the central government enhances capacity building of police stations and agencies. Now, what are the key initiatives under the cybercrime prevention? The first one was we launched Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, which is the nodal agency under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Significantly, the objective of it is the comprehensive coordination of cybercrime prevention and response. Secondly, we launched something called the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. So, this is a public platform for reporting the crimes, which is the website cybercrime.gov.in. Know that the special focus is on the cybercrimes against women and children and the actionable reports sent to respective state or UT LEAs for FIR registration and investigation. The last one is Citizen Financial Fraud Reporting and Management System of 2021, which facilitates immediate reporting and blocking of fraudulent transactions. Furthermore, over 4,386 crore saved across 13.36 lakhs companies. So, the toll-free number is 1930 for financial cyber fraud assistance. Now, next we have something called the National Cyber Forensic Laboratory, which is related to investigation, was established in New Delhi under Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. Know that the function is that it provides early stage cyber forensic support to state or UT investigating officers. So, furthermore, it assisted in 11,835 cybercrime cases. So last one is the cybercrime prevention against women and children. So where the objective is strengthening the cyber forensic capacity of state or UT law enforcement agencies, and you have to know that it is implemented by the cyber forensic training labs in 33 states or UTs. Now moving on to talk about the fourth article. So the fourth article says that the index of industrial production growth rate for the month January 2025 is 5%, which was 3.2% in the month of December 2024. Know that the growth rates in three sectors, mining, manufacturing and electricity, for the month of January 2025 are 4.4%, 5.5% and 2.4% respectively. In this context, we'll talk about the index of industrial production. So as the name suggests, the index of industrial production maps the change in the volume of production, in Indian industries. Know that more formally, it chooses a basket of industrial products ranging from manufacturing sector to mining to energy, creates an index by giving different weight to each sector and then tracks the production every month. Finally, the index value is compared to the value it had in the same month last year to figure out the economy's industrial health. Know that it is one of the prime indicators of the economic development for the measurement of trend in the behavior of industrial production. So, it indicates the relative change of physical production in the field of industries during a specified year as compared to the previous year. Significantly, it is computed and published by the Central Statistical Organization on a monthly basis. So, the base year is always given a value of 100. And the current base year for the IIP series in India is 2011 or 12. So if the current IIP reads as 120, it means that there has been 20% growth compared to the base year. Now moving on to talk about the next article. It says that the Ministry of Home Affairs officials separately met Kuki Zoo and Meaty civil society groups in Manipur on 11th March and 12th March respectively, amid blockade of national highways by the Kuki Zoo groups since March 8 violence in the Strive-torn state. In this context, we'll talk about the Kukis. So they are an ethnic group. Comprising multiple tribes who originally inhabited in the tribe border of India, which means the northeastern states, Myanmar and Bangladesh. So they are present in all northeast Indian states except Arunachal Pradesh. So in Manipur, Kuki tribes comprise around 30% of the population and mainly reside in the hills. So the Chin people of the Myanmar and the Mizo people of the Mizoram are the kindred tribes of the Kukis and collectively known as the Zo people. Now, talking about their religion and culture. So traditionally they are not Christian but animist and worshipped different deities and spirits. But for the last 90 years, majority of them have embraced Christianity, where they have their own customary laws and village council. Furthermore, they do not arrange any marriage alliance outside their community, and the village chief generally looks up all sorts of social and religious disputes, including the disputes related to marriage and divorce. Some of the other tribes in Manipur are Meaty, Naga, and Kuki Chin Mizo, or the Kuki Chim, or popularly known as the Kukis in short. Now, moving on to talk about the next article. It says that the opposition MPs in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday tried unsuccessfully to corner the union government into answering questions about the environmental and forest clearances granted to the 72,000 crore Great Nicobar Island mega infrastructure project. In this context, we'll talk about it. See, the Great Nicobar project is a multi-development initiative for the strategic and the holistic development of the Great Nicobar Island. Know that it is cleared by the Ministry of Environment in November 2022. The project spans 30 years and aims to strengthen India's strategic presence and infrastructure in the region. So, talking about the other objectives, firstly, it is seen as the counter-expansionist activities by the neighboring countries like China and to safeguard maritime interests and curb illegal activities such as poaching by Myanmarese fishers. Talking about the infrastructure development, so it is valued at 72,000 crores with key components like International Container Transshipment Terminal, Greenfield International Airport, Township Development, and 450 megawatt electric power plant. Now, talking about the geographical extent or the geographical context, see it is the southernmost island of the Andaman and Nicobar group near the Indira Point, less than 150 kilometers from Indonesia. Know that they are with tropical wet evergreen forests, mountain ranges, and coastal plains. Furthermore, it has two national parks, a biosphere reserve, and endangered species like the leatherback sea turtle. Now, what is the impact on the indigenous tribes? See, they are home to Shompen, who are the hunter-gatherers and Nicobarese tribes. Furthermore, the proposed denotification of 84 square kilometer of the 751 square kilometer tribal reserve for the project. Now, moving on to talk about the Great Nicobar project. See, the southernmost island of the Nicobar Islands archipelago. So, it is home to Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve, which includes tropical wet evergreen forests, mountain ranges, and coastal plains. Know that the Shompen tribe and the Nicobarese tribe are the indigenous tribes of the island. Now, moving on to talk about the next article. It talks about the mycelium bricks. Mycelium bricks as a sustainable alternative in the construction. So, let us talk about it. See, the construction industry is exploring low carbon alternatives to reduce its environmental impact. But the problem here with the fired clay bricks is that they are a major contributor to carbon emissions and demand expected to increase with urbanization. So, what are these mycelium bricks? See, they are made from mycelium or the vegetative network of fungi. Know that it is composed of a mix of husk, sawdust, and fungal spores, forming a fibrous network that solidifies into lightweight material. Furthermore, it takes a few days to develop into a steady structure. Now, what are the advantages of its bricks? Firstly, it reduces the carbon footprint compared to conventional bricks and decomposes naturally, reducing the construction waste. Secondly, these fibers naturally resist fire, making it a safer alternative in some applications. Furthermore, it provides a good thermal insulation and they are lighter than clay bricks, reducing the transportation costs. Lastly, it has potential applications in interior design panels, liquid filters and sports equipment, and lastly, printed circuit boards in electronics. But what are the challenges with respect to it? Firstly, the strength 2 orders of magnitude lower than concrete and not suitable for high loading bearing capacity. And secondly, they are highly absorbent, which means they are susceptible to fungi decay in the humid environments like India, and they biodegrade within a few years, which is not suitable for long-term structures. Currently expensive due to lack of infrastructure for mass production and no large-scale production facilities are available yet. And lastly, limited awareness among builders and consumers and requires a policy support and awareness campaigns. Looking at its future prospects, firstly, the flame retardant with respect to enhancements in the medical treatment, the flame retardants to provide a fire resistance and UV protective coatings to prevent a degradation in outdoor applications. And there is need for investment in strength improvement and development of moisture resistant coatings. And lastly, the government incentives are essential to promote the sustainable construction materials and encouraging high performance green buildings. Next article says that according to the World Air Quality Report for 2024, published by IQ Air, which is a Swiss company that tracks global air quality, Bainihat on the Meghalaya Assam border is the most polluted city in the world. In this context, we'll talk about it. See, the Bainihat is situated on the Assam Meghalaya border in the Ribhoi district of Meghalaya. Know that it is 20 kilometers from Guwahati and 65 kilometers from Shillong. Furthermore, the topography includes a basin-like structure with surrounding hills, reduces wind dispersal, and creates a valley and basin effect, trapping pollutants. Now, talking about the industrialization with respect to this town, see, firstly, developed into an industrial hub. It developed into an industrial hub due to proximity to coal reserves in Meghalaya, water supply from Omtro River, and lastly, connectivity via national highway. So the Baidnihat Export Promotion Industrial Park and the Tamulkuchi Industrial Area of Assam are the key industrial zones of it. Furthermore, it has some major industries like coke production, cement manufacturing, ferro oil, alloys and steel, and brick making distillation. Now, talking about the environmental concerns, firstly, the non-compliance with the pollution control norms, like the Meghalaya Pollution Control Board, sent closure notices to 7 industries and environment compensation of 2 industries. Then Assam Pollution Control Board notices issued due to non-operation of pollution control devices. And some of the common violations include ineffective pollution control devices and failure to transmit online emission data. Now, different sources for this pollution are industrial emissions from coal-based industries and non-operational pollution control devices. Then vehicular pollution like the heavy diesel vehicles and traffic congestion. Then lastly, dust pollution due to unpaved roads. And then geographical constraints where the low altitude with the hills on either side reduces the wind dispersal. Then moving on to the last article of the day, it talks about the Starlink in the context of Bharati Airtel and Reliance Jio having signed separate deals with Elon Musk's SpaceX to bring the Starlink internet service to India. In this context, we'll talk about the Starlink. See, it is a satellite-based internet service operated by SpaceX founded by Elon Musk. Launched in 2019, it aims to deploy 42,000 small satellites into low Earth orbit. So currently, approximately 7,000 satellites are in the low Earth orbit. 4.6 million users across 100 countries are being used and doubled the users in just 1 year. Now, how does this satellite internet work? Firstly, the user sends a signal from the device to Starlink satellite in space. So then the satellite releases the data to the ground station connected to global internet. Now, the ground station retrieves the data and sends it back to the satellite. Lastly, the satellite transmits the data back to the user's dish for the internet access. Know that there is no need for cables, fiber or 4 lines and requires only a satellite. So the advantages and challenges with respect to it are like there is high cost and the need for regulatory approvals, and lastly potential space congestion and orbital debris. So in this video we have discussed 9 articles in total for today. We'll be back again with another video tomorrow. Thank you.